As the months rolled by, Hoa's admiration for Ibrahim Traoré began to evolve into something deeper, something that consumed much of her thoughts. What started as a casual interest in his leadership soon transformed into an obsession. She found herself waking up every day with the thought of him. His face was on her mind, his speeches echoing in her ears, and every word he spoke about Africa's future fueled the fire that burned inside her. Hoa's routine had changed drastically. The television was no longer a distraction for her, it became a source of learning. Every time she saw a new interview or heard of a new speech from Ibrahim Traoré, she would stop everything to watch, listen, and absorb. She started to analyze his words not just from a political standpoint, but from a personal perspective. His stories of resilience, his personal sacrifices, and his unwavering determination in the face of challenges stirred something in her that she couldn't quite describe. It was as though his journey was a mirror for her own unspoken ambitions. Books, articles, and interviews became her constant companions. She devoured anything she could find that had any connection to him. His interviews were not just words to her, they were blueprints for a vision of Africa that she had never before considered so intensely. Traoré's philosophy about leadership was simple but profound. True leadership does not seek power for itself. It seeks to empower others and bring about change for the greater good. These words resonated with Hoa more than anything she had ever heard before. To her, it wasn't just about being in power, it was about creating a world where the people had the power to drive their own destiny. Her fascination with Ibrahim Traoré was not just about his success. It was about the obstacles he had overcome and the courage he demonstrated every single day. As she read more about his struggles, from his military background to his sudden rise to power amid political chaos in Burkina Faso, Hoa became even more drawn to his story. She admired his decision to take charge of a nation in turmoil, to risk everything to change the fate of a people who had long been neglected by previous governments. Traoré wasn't just leading a country, he was fighting for justice, for a new world order in Africa that gave the people the voice they had long been denied. Every word that Ibrahim Traoré spoke seemed to challenge Hoa to reconsider her own life and ambitions. She found herself reflecting on her own purpose more than ever. What was her role in this grand movement he spoke about? What was her part to play in the future of Africa? She began to ask herself deeper questions, questions she had never considered before. She wasn't just an observer, she could be part of this change. This was the kind of leadership that inspired action, and Hoa wanted to be a part of it. Her friends started to notice the transformation in her. At first, they would laugh and joke about her newfound obsession with Ibrahim Traoré. "Hoa, are you sure you're not in love with him?" one of her friends teased. "You talk about him all the time. Maybe you should meet him one day." Hoa would laugh along with them, but deep down, the truth was undeniable. It wasn't love that consumed her, it was admiration, respect, and a deep sense of purpose. "It's not about him as a person," she would explain. "It's about what he represents. He's the kind of leader who doesn't just tell people what they want to hear. He shows them what's possible when you believe in your country, in your people, and in your cause. That's the kind of leadership I want to learn from." As she spent more time reading and reflecting, Hoa found herself shaping her own thoughts about leadership and the future. She began to write down her own reflections, her hopes for Africa, and how she believed young people could play a vital role in shaping the continent's future. Her journal became her sanctuary, a place where she could explore her own thoughts and channel her growing passion for activism and political change. Every page was filled with ideas and strategies on how young Africans could come together to build a better, more prosperous future. But her obsession wasn't just intellectual. It was deeply personal. Traoré's words about youth empowerment, about revolutionizing Africa, made Hoa feel something she hadn't felt before, a calling. She felt as if the purpose she had been searching for her entire life had finally revealed itself. Her dream of meeting Ibrahim Traoré was no longer just a distant fantasy, it had become a goal. She knew that one day, she would stand before him, ready to share her vision, her ideas, and her commitment to Africa's awakening. She would tell him about the political struggles she had witnessed in her own country, how she had watched her generation struggle with corruption and poverty. She wanted to hear his advice, to learn from his experiences. In that moment, Hoa realized that meeting Ibrahim Traoré was more than just a personal goal. It was a mission to learn from a revolutionary and, in turn, to become a part of that same revolution. The dream was no longer just a spark of hope, it was a burning fire that would push Hoa forward. Every day, she moved closer to her goal, knowing that one day, she would meet Ibrahim Traoré, and in that moment, she would not only change her life but, perhaps, the future of Africa itself. The fire of her determination had been ignited, and it was unstoppable. One ordinary day, as Hoa scrolled through her social media feed, she came across a post that made her heart race. It wasn't just any post, it was a game changer. The headline read, "Exclusive event in Ouagadougou, meet President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso." Her eyes widened as she read on. The post detailed a special event in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, where Ibrahim Traoré, the revolutionary leader who had inspired Hoa for so long, would be delivering a speech. The event was aimed at political activists, young leaders, and changemakers from across the globe, with a select few invited for a rare meet and greet session. Hoa's fingers trembled as she continued reading. This was her moment, the opportunity she had dreamed of for so long. For months, she had been watching from afar, learning from his speeches, reading his interviews, and imagining what it would be like to meet him. And now, that dream was becoming a reality. She could hardly believe her eyes. The thought of standing in front of Ibrahim Traoré and speaking to him face to face sent waves of excitement through her entire body. Without wasting a moment, Hoa grabbed her phone and typed up her application to attend the event. She poured her heart into the message, explaining why she was so passionate about Traoré's leadership and how much it would mean to her to engage with him. Her words were filled with excitement and conviction. This wasn't just a trip, this was a mission, an opportunity to learn directly from the man who had shaped her political vision. Within a few days, Hoa received an email. At first, she hesitated to open it, afraid that the opportunity might slip through her fingers. But when she clicked on the message, her eyes immediately scanned the contents. The email confirmed her invitation. Her heart leaped in her chest. She was going to meet Ibrahim Traoré. It felt surreal, like something straight out of her wildest dreams. The confirmation email also included details about the event, travel arrangements, and a list of the political leaders and activists who would be attending. As the reality of the invitation sank in, Hoa knew that this was no ordinary event. This wasn't just a chance to meet a leader, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to engage with someone whose beliefs, values, and leadership style had inspired her in profound ways. She had followed Traoré's political journey since the beginning of his rise to power, and now she had the chance to speak to him in person. It felt like the culmination of all the work she had done to understand the political landscape of Africa, the social movements, and the role of youth in shaping change. This event would not just change her, it would transform her vision for the future of Africa. The first thing Hoa did was start researching more about Traoré's current work. She had spent months learning about his past actions and leadership, but now she needed to focus on the present. What were his current political goals? What challenges was he facing in Burkina Faso, and how was he tackling them? The more she learned, the more she realized how much she still had to discover. Traoré was not just a political figure to admire from afar, he was a man on a mission, constantly working to reshape his country, and by extension, Africa. Hoa found herself in awe once again of his unwavering dedication and his visionary approach to leadership. Hoa knew that this wasn't just an opportunity to admire Ibrahim Traoré from a distance, it was an opportunity to ask questions, to learn directly from him, and to share her own thoughts and ideas. She began to meticulously prepare a list of questions. What could she ask a leader like him, someone who had already achieved so much? She wanted to learn about his approach to youth empowerment, the strategies he employed to overcome challenges, and how he managed to maintain his integrity in the face of political pressures. But it wasn't just about asking questions, it was about engaging in a meaningful dialogue, a conversation that would help shape her own path as an aspiring leader and changemaker. As she finalized her preparations, Hoa couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. From a small-town girl with a big dream to a young political activist on the verge of meeting one of her heroes, this was a pivotal moment in her life. The journey had started with the simple dream of meeting Ibrahim Traoré, but now it had evolved into a mission, one that was about much more than just her personal aspirations. This was a chance to learn from one of Africa's most influential leaders and to carry that knowledge back to her community, her country, and perhaps even the world. With the event fast approaching, Hoa's anticipation grew. She was ready. Ready to meet Ibrahim Traoré. Ready to ask the questions that had been on her mind for so long. And ready to take the next step in her journey as a young leader determined to make her mark on the world. The stage was set. The dream was no longer just a distant fantasy. It was within reach. And Hoa was ready to embrace it with everything she had. Hoa's story is a powerful reminder that dreams can become reality if we are persistent, focused, and passionate. Just like her, each of us has the potential to meet our idols, change our circumstances, and impact the world in ways we never imagined. But it all starts with belief, the belief that one day, your dreams will no longer be a fantasy, but a living, breathing reality. If Hoa can turn her dream of meeting Ibrahim Traoré into a life-changing moment, what could you do with your own dreams?